Okay, so hello all, this is Virginia from Athens, Greece again for Ask Your Mentor Anything sessions in the Mentoring for Translators group. We are here today with Martina Russo, Italian translator, and she's going to tell us a bit more about herself as a professional. And this is our second session. The last one with Moira, we didn't manage to go live, but I think we are live now, so please comment below or ask any question. If we do not have the time to answer right now during the live, we will be here to answer your questions later. Tell us where are you watching us from, which country. Martina is in Greece, but not very close to me. I'm in Athens. So Martina, hello, welcome to our sessions.
Hello, hi Virginia, hi everyone, thanks for watching. So yeah, I'm in Greece right now, but I'm actually in a quite remote location to rock climb.
Yeah.
I think I am about,
what's the
name of the location?
Yeah.
So the closest bigger town is called Agrinio. Do you know it?
Okay.
Do you know it? Okay. It's about, I think, 3.5 hours from Athens.
Yeah, it's a big, Agrinio is well known. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's actually quite big. I wasn't expecting it to be that big.
Yeah.
Wow. And everything is quite modern looking. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Lovely. So you are an Italian translator. How many years in the business? A bit more, most of the members of the group, they know you, but for someone that watches for the first time, maybe on YouTube later.
So I have started translating when I was still in university. So that was like late 2010, and then I officially started the business in 2014. And yeah, I've been going strong since then.
And you have a niche like in arts and marketing? In sports and marketing, is that correct?
Yes. So two niches. One is called Moving Words Translations, and I do marketing and digital marketing, tech translations. And the other one is action sports. So not any sports, like not football, rugby, blah, blah, blah. Only adventure sports, action sports, extreme sports, and the outdoors.
Wow. Nice. So I got inspired of the topic of today's session because I had made an educational video for the Starting Out Translators community, because they had asked me to post something about boosting your confidence as a freelance translator, because most of us, there are some times in our career, or maybe in the beginning mostly, that we need some ways to boost our confidence. So among these 7 ways to boost your confidence, you can find on my YouTube channel or in the group I posted earlier today. So there was one way that was mentioned, challenging physical activities, among of them the climbing. So the first person that I thought about translation business and climbing was you. And so if you would like to talk about something you love, I suppose, so it would be happy for us to learn more about it, and for you might to enjoy talking about something that you really love and you exercise every day. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, so I started climbing maybe 3 years ago. For a few months I went completely obsessed. I was completely obsessed with it because I was living abroad and, you know, doing all my business abroad and like remotely, and then I had to come back to Italy because my dad was involved in an accident. So I found a climbing gym next to my mom's place because I had to stay back at her place for a few months, and I just spent, I think, 4 hours per day every day at the gym. And it was like the only place where I could actually stop thinking about all my, you know, problems. And at the time, the situation with my dad was so severe that basically it put me out of work for 6 months because I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think about working. The mere idea of opening my laptop was dreadful. I completely lost all my motivation in work. So climbing was the place where I could just, you know, do something that was so intense and powerful that I didn't have any time or just a chance to think about anything else in general. Then I stopped completely for, I think, 1.5 years. So I went back to square zero because that's how climbing works, unfortunately. And then I started again, I guess 1.5 years ago, but I actually started climbing like seriously last year in April. And
I thought it was longer.
No. I mean, I did a little bit in the winter, just a gym, but not much because I was living in the mountains. So, and then last year I moved back to, that feels like 10 years ago, but last year I moved back to this, like, to the seaside in this really famous climbing location. And then I started a little bit, and then I met my partner, and then we set off last year in May. Oh my God.
That was
I don't
in
know.
Spain. That was
Too
in...
many things happened.
Yeah.
We set off at some point last year, and we've been, yeah, sorry. So it was 2 years ago that I started. So last year in May, we started off this long climbing trip, and we've been in Spain, Portugal, and now in Greece, basically. So that's what I do every day between work, between my work sessions.
That was the story how you started about climbing. So what's the connection? How do you realize in your everyday life or working life the benefits of such a sport as a freelancer, of course, and as a professional translator?
So I think the main thing for me, actually two main aspects for me, are doing something that kind of forces me to have a really healthy work-life balance, because now that we climb outdoors, for example, there are only so many days that we can climb, because either it rains or it might be too cold, or it might be too hot. Maybe I want to climb during the daytime. So that kind of forces me to have like, okay, I'm going to set away these hours to climb. So for the rest of the time, I'm going to be, working full on to deliver all these projects. But then I also have a lot of good, healthy time off. And yeah, that really helps me achieve that. And then the second thing is it's my outlet for like to when I'm stressed. So also when I've had too much work, or would have stressful situation back home because of this thing with my family, my dad, or anything, I can just get out, go and get on the rock and get on something that's actually so hard, and I have to think, like to not think, but to
forget everything else in order to concentrate.
To make such an effort that I can think about anything else, and that really helped me also. Like instead of chilling in front of a screen and try to get distressed by just watching TV or whatever, I just go out and move and so that really helped me out as well.
So you combine something that really helps you to not feeling stressed out, and also help you to maintain a healthy lifestyle at the same time. So there are many benefits there. So what about when it comes to negotiating rates, or something that really needs to be confident about our business, like going to a big, huge conference abroad or an exhibition to meet clients there, with something that most of us translators, I think most of us, while starting out, but also as experienced translators, we're a bit afraid or not feeling so confident to do so, like going and meet in person, like ideal clients, for example, an exhibition like you were last week, or negotiating the rates very high. That is also something that it really needs to be educated, the translator, especially while beginning, but also when they want to make a change in their career and double their rates, for example, after many years maintaining their rates. So have you seen any such results there? Or is that is just your character, for example?
No, I think I had a major, no, I wouldn't say boosting confidence, because it's always a roller coaster a little bit, but I started realizing that I had to be more confident when it comes to negotiating rates and, looking for clients a few years ago, actually, when I started seeing that I could actually deliver good results. I knew what I was doing, and clients kept coming back to me and blah, blah, blah. So that kind of, I already had this layer, like this base layer, what I built on. I think with climbing, it helps me in more on a subconscious level, and it helps me with more stressful situations. So for example, and this does not just relate to climbing, to work. I realized in a few times that I was like in stressful situations, and automatically my mind went back to when I was in the rock.
Really?
And I was really, yes.
The sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, so when you climb and you have a rope, you're just attached to a rope which is beneath you, and then you need to go up and use this, it's called quick draws, to attach, put them in the bolts which are already put in the wall, and you have to go and you have to put up your rope basically as you go. And if you fall,
that's questions, how do you do that in order to feel safe up there?
It is safe, but depending also on how hits equipped the wall, then you might just take a bigger fall. And a few times I've been in that situation when I had to think like, okay, breathe, it's gonna pass, it's gonna be fine, you're not gonna die, it's okay. And then it's okay. I mean, I'm still here to talk about it, so I haven't, I'm not dead. So when it comes to work, or when I've been in other situations that were really stressful before, that's really helped me. I don't even do it on purpose, but like there's something from that situation that comes back to me and like makes me feel more grounded and calm. Yeah.
So you visualize something when you're feeling stressed or you're not feeling that confident, this stressful situation that you are up on the rock, and how do you deal? Is that correct? Up there, and then you feel more confident to do anything else, which is not that compared to such situation, which is a bit risky for your life, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I want to visualize it, but sometimes when it's really something that is really stressful, then I'm like, okay, wait, I've been there before, it's fine, I'm not gonna die. So that kind of transfers automatically, subconsciously to the rest of my life. And then the other thing is, for me, because I specialize in that niche, which is action sports. When for example, I went to this big trade show in Germany. I was there until 2 days ago, and it's about action sports. And a lot of the stands are obviously climbing companies, blah, blah, blah. And so because I go there, and actually I am part of the niche, I am one of them. So that obviously,
if I also to them, you are a client, you buy their
I know exactly what the whole thing is about. So I'm not just someone who does translations and says that I specialize in that niche, but I don't really do anything about the sport. I actually have a lot of things in common with them. I can actually have a more relaxed conversation about, I was climbing the other day in Greece. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I just met one of these leads, one of these major climbing, actually mountaineering company. We met at a party which is called Mountaineer and Mountain Beer. It's like
the conference, you mean, during the exhibition?
Very sure. Yeah, every of the companies, they all have these booths and stands, and then sometimes they do these parties, networking parties. So that's that really helps me in also reaching out to these companies. So for me, climbing specifically has all these benefits.
Yeah. Did you decide to become specialized in such a niche after you started climbing, or it was something that happened at the same time, or the other way around?
Afterwards, because I was already doing a little bit of translations for companies not in the action sports field, but they had the topic sometimes crossed, and then last year, actually, pretty much at this time of the year, I saw this conference, this trade show, and I thought that's actually pretty cool. So maybe I should just create a separate website and a separate business, basically.
I remember that, yeah.
And so I did. I put up this website, and then I went off. And last year, because it was the first trade show and it was at the beginning, I literally set up the website to be able to go to the trade show. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I just went and talked.
Did you have the results that you have in mind back then?
Yeah, I did actually. I came back with a really big.
I mean the website. I mean setting up a different website according.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say that because I didn't want to leave all of this, because obviously marketing and digital and social and blah, blah, blah is a completely different niche than action sports. Also, it's just like completely different lingo, completely different segments and clients and stuff. So setting up a website, which is, you can all have a look, it's called theactionsportstranslator.com. It literally talks about sports, action sports.
Makes sense, yeah.
And actually it ranks quite high on Google, apparently, because almost every 2 to 3 days I receive a lead. And
it makes sense because I haven't seen any such translation business website specialized in such a niche. So it makes sense if you have. It's a great advice also to the members that they are watching right now. If they have a specific niche, very specialized, that they would like to get into that. If they cannot afford a website, maybe like having keywords on their website, something that can bring them leads, as you say. But I find it very clever and a great advice. So many interesting information here of how to combine your passion and your hobbies with your niche and your specialization in the translation business, how to get into that niche and how to find direct clients from that niche, because I assume you work mostly with direct clients.
Yeah. With this new niche, especially, I basically only work with direct clients.
Of course.
And it's actually quite interesting because at first, so I set it up last year, but I haven't been done any blogging, nothing, no content, zero marketing whatsoever. The
Google
only thing that
Ads?
I do,
Not Google Ads?
huh?
Google Ads?
Sorry?
Google Ads? Adverts?
Yeah. So basically, the only thing that I do, I have no ads, nothing, zero. The only thing that I did for this website, because I don't have enough time to just stay on top of my social media game with every possible channel that I have. So what I've done, I just went to this trade show last year. I went to which I came back with 2 clients. Then I went to the trade show again this year, and I'm gonna do this every year because now I also know people, so it's easier as well.
So it's one trade show, or you prefer to go different trade shows or exhibitions?
This one is the biggest trade show I think in Europe at least, so it makes sense for me to go to that one. And every time that I go, I meet new people. So now this time I already know people from last year, plus new companies, so it was easier. I was introduced by people that I know to new people, so it's quite good.
And it's huge, yeah, it's very big. It's a European event, is that correct?
Yeah, it's massive. It's really, I think it's the biggest one, but also companies from all over the world, Pakistan, Australia, is like, you know, there's lots of, so yeah, because I've done zero marketing over the past, I was going to say, sorry, that I've got one Instagram account, which is basically my personal one, and it's called Martina's _translates. But what I do, I only use it to post about my sports, which is snowboarding, surfing, kind of. I try, but not that great. And rock climbing.
And your cats.
So I only my cats, I have a separate one for my cats. I know that's a bit corny, but whatever. I have this one because I was actually looking for clients at some point on LinkedIn in this niche, but actually my LinkedIn account is more geared toward the marketing and digital niche.
Okay.
So I thought I did a little research, and I saw that all these clients, these companies actually hang out on Instagram. So I decided that I was going to focus in LinkedIn for my marketing and digital one, and Instagram for the action sports fun, because it's also very visual. So now I've got about 4,000 followers, which doesn't really matter. But the thing is that a few of my posts have gone viral within those like big, pages that repost stuff. And that means that I end up in front of the people that I want to end up in front. Which
and
also
gives results when it comes to business. Do you get clients from Instagram, do you think, or leads, or is just another way of become visible?
It's just a way to become visible. I don't use it to actually look for leads, but I use it as a backup of my claims. Yes, I do. I'm a specialized business in translation business in this niche, and this is actually what I do. I actually climb, snowboard, and surf, and blah 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 blah. And when I actually say that, people go like, at the trade show, for example, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in Greece and I'm climbing and I'm snowboarding in Greece. Oh my God, wow. And so we started that conversation not from, a place where, who is this person? She's trying to sell me something. Oh, she's actually part of the industry. She's part of the lifestyle. So
did you manage to have so many followers organically without any other effort by just posting?
Just by posting stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. I started last year, I think. Did I? Maybe more, 1.5, 2. I can't remember.
Last year. You mean when you started to become more consistent on posting?
Yeah, at some point I actually I never had Instagram before. So it was a massive effort that I was doing, trying to find some pictures and stuff and snap photos, and instead of enjoying the moment, but it kind of, I decided that I wanted to do it, and I was posting every day. And now that I've got much more engagement, I can keep it on the, once every 2-3 days, once a week, whenever I want.
You're mostly well known for the active sports and extreme sports as a translator, at least in our circles here. What about digital marketing, your other niche? Would you like to speak about a bit about your second niche or your first niche? I don't know what's the.
Well, I guess the first, because that's how I started. I mean, I didn't mean to get into that either. But when I went to university, I studied my first like bachelor translation degree was translation and interpreting, and part of the whole thing was marketing as well. But that was kind of old school already. It was like, you know, the old school marketing kind of stuff. And so as I started working in translation, I was accepting whatever kind of projects, as we all do, that came my way.
Yeah.
And at the time, like 10 years ago now, like 9 years ago, there wasn't nearly as much information as we have now online. You know, people doing like you do, mentoring. There was nothing. There was just Marta Stelmazak,
Yeah,
Valeria, Alberta, a couple of people, but not many. I think, yeah, okay, I think you're
I was looking to find information to write my CV as a translator back then, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was Marta. She was like the Bible of translation.
With a name now that she's not active, Marta, because she's in other fields. She has left that behind a bit, but nowadays, okay, you can find mentors, you can find marketing experts, or you can find other information.
There's so much stuff now, which it's amazing as well, because I think a lot of us go to university or to school, and the whole business side of it, especially in countries like Italy,
like Greece
or Spain, I think the whole part of business is just not even touched upon. And so you come out of university and you think, I'm going to be this awesome translator, and then you have no idea what you're looking at, like, you know, all the finance part, the business part, the strategy, and then you're bound to make a lot of mistakes. So when I started out, I spent a lot of time doing research. I would say like 60% of my days were spent doing research.
1 year. It took me 1 year to write a very good CV, at least for a translator.
Yeah, it took me a few years actually. And I had a decent CV, but I had to constantly work on it. I did my own website at first, which obviously was quite ridiculous, but you know, it was all part of the process. Yeah. And throughout the whole thing, I read a lot about digital content marketing, copywriting. So everything kind of fell into place. So I started working with transcreation, marketing, and localization, blah, blah, blah. And then I also always had a profound dislike for legal, medical, scientific texts. Yeah. So this was more the kind of thing that I've always enjoyed doing. So yeah.
I do mostly legal and finance. So.
Oh God, no! I think I would be a terrible translator in that field. You know.
Yeah, I'm a certified here in Greece, so someone has to do that as well as a certified translator. So, is there a course on digital marketing or transcreation or all that you mentioned right now you would like to recommend when you started out that you attended or you took online or?
So an online course. To be honest, I took a bunch, but I can't really. I took a few small ones, and I don't really.
Something that comes to your mind right now. Is there something that's still on there and someone starting out?
I would actually. The first thing that I would do if I started out, if I was starting out today, I would still go back to Marta's blog.
Still the blog is online. Yeah.
The basic, online. I think it's called the Business School for Translator. I would still go back to that one because everything is still quite relevant. You know, that's kind of evergreen content. So that is the one thing, like that woman.
Yeah, I was asking you mostly about digital marketing and
okay, sorry.
Led you to become specialized in such a niche, because you talked about some courses that you took about digital marketing and the transcreation, etc. So that was I was recommending, because as translators we know most of the mentors and we most of the role models that exist out there. So I would like to speak a bit more how to become specialized in a niche that you would like, and if you took any specialized course that led you to choose this path in your career instead of become a legal or financial translator.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really take any like official courses. I think I took one of copywriting at some point, and don't know what else. Because I obviously, if you write, you know, marketing stuff, you need to persuade and sell services or products when you translate. So I wanted to also make sure that I was using all the right techniques when it comes to writing my own language. Although I don't like writing content, so I don't offer copywriting as a service, but it's still like I wanted to make sure that. But then I haven't really taken any specific courses. I've just been reading up, I don't know, thousands of blogs,
blogs, podcasts, most probably books.
Yeah, I mean, mostly blogs really. Like I've been devouring blog after blog after blog after blog after blog. So if there's one that I would recommend, it's Neil Patel, which is the first. Um,
Okay,
it's
now
like
that you mentioned Neil, you have to tell us a bit more your cooperation, your collaboration with him. How did this happen? It's something that I think someone specialized in such a niche would be a dream in their life to work for such a persona. Isn't that correct? So tell us.
when I got the email. So I think I reached out to him on LinkedIn ages ago, and then I never heard back. Yeah, I reached out to him, but he never got back to me. But then months later, I received an email. By his personal assistant saying, "Oh, would you like to, you reached out to Neil like blah 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 so many times, like so many months ago. And would you like to do this?" And I will not lie. I had like a little happy dance there and then. I had a nice glass of wine.
Where did they find your contact details from the first direct message you had sent to Neil, you think, or they had been following you?
I mean, I don't know if people watching this video know, but I've also been doing a lot of like talks about how to use LinkedIn. I've been much less active lately, but I used to post a lot. So I think that really helped because I was always, so I connected with him and I was constantly on top of his feed. Probably every time that he opened his LinkedIn account,
and his personal assistant most probably was behind his personal assistant most probably was behind of his account.
Possibly, yeah, that's also possible. So
sense,
every time that they opened their LinkedIn account, I was probably just on top of their, like in their face. So it was quite hard to forget. And I was always talking about translation as well in an approachable way, of course. So yeah, so then he sent me that email and I was like, ah! It's like the number one digital marketer in the world, according to Forbes and so many websites. And I was like,
that's a success story. Yeah,
that was amazing.
And
it's a really good to have that on the website, like that's a really nice.
You got assigned a project from their first approach? It was an assignment that they sent you, or it was just an approach from future?
I think I can't remember. I think it was I think he said that they had a project for me to work on and asked me a little bit about my process. Then I sent like a really long email explaining everything and how I do it, and then from there on we went and worked together. And the last project that I delivered was like an ongoing project. So if you so he's got this website called Uber Suggest.io. So it's like we're translating it constantly. And there are some parts that were previously translated by someone else, and we're like fixing them as well.
Which languages that he would like to get into another market, Neil? Like why he translates his website? Like it was from Italian to German. What was it?
No, for me it's into Italian. It's from English into German, but he's already got all the people for the other languages. So we already. I mean, I don't know them, but I know that he already has that done and like set up. Yeah, so that's amazing. So for me, I think the moment that I thought, okay, I'm happy with what I've, reached in my career so far is like these moments when I'm like, wow, I've, been working my ass off, posting on LinkedIn, even when I didn't want to get out of bed. I'm like writing this post on LinkedIn. But then what happens is that I get this client, and then I got another client from Switzerland, which is because I work a lot into Swiss Italian as well, which is basically the Swiss Amazon. So yeah, I mean, clients like this which make me
That's one of a kind. I think that's a great success story. It's a great advice to someone who would like to make such an effort. Like LinkedIn makes miracles sometimes. Like if you work consistently and in such a way, you can see other posts or blogs or videos of Martina talking about her approach to LinkedIn. So you might see such results according to your niche or your specialization, for example, because for Martina it was such a specialization. That's why she was contacted of such a person. But it's a great advice if you would like to achieve such a goal to be contacted of your role model, for example, of someone that you really admire and you would like to work with, why not to get contacted with them to become a member of his contacts and he of your contacts, and then by posting consistently, you might achieve such a success. I remember like I had such a success not by being contacting of a client, by when I achieved my financial goals, like the first time that in a couple of months I earned the yearly income I used to earn. So the first time that I earned my yearly income in 2 months, for me it was such a success. Like I felt happy, as you mentioned, like you feel happy, you feel fulfilled that you something achieved and all your efforts like had a result. So one last question and then we will leave Martina to go climbing. I got so many messages from my mentees about your speech to the Financial Success Summit, and I couldn't like talk about it before it was, because I think yours was in the paid version, so it wasn't something that we could really reveal so easily about the content. But I got some mentees come to me, is that correct that we can charge that much that Martina said, or how we can do it, and why is that, how can we reach the level of Martina in order to be able to charge that much or to quote project that much? So I think among almost all of the sessions, I think yours was the main that I received so many messages of my mentees. And the main benefit of that was the inspiration that you give and the motivation. And something that I really say, it isn't something that you can do. You cannot go and charge whatever the other professionals charge. It isn't that the point of a session, of a speech or a presentation. It's to feel motivated that you can do better of what are you doing right now, and you can work towards your goals, financial goals. It's something that you would like to tell to these people who watched your session and your presentation that were really inspired.
So I think the point is that, well, that goes kind of back to being confident. So it's how can I say, it's unlikely that in your first year of work, when you start out, you're going to feel confident enough to charge more. And it's also correct that way, because to be honest, if I look back at my translations 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, they're probably not as good as I would like them to be, or, you know, because obviously we improve and we specialize further as we go. So the thing is, when you realize that you actually, you know, when you specialize in a nation, then you realize that you actually are good at what you're doing and you're actually bringing value. I know that's kind of a buzzword now, but you are actually providing value, which means you're providing like your client with, I don't know, what does your client need? I know, convert when it comes to marketing translation.
Can you repeat your last sentence, because I think your connection was interrupted?
Yeah. Wait a second. So when it comes to you managed, like, you specialize in a niche, and then you find these clients, as I said in the session, that are in a segment of the market that they actually care about paying more for quality and can afford to pay more for quality. And you actually realize that you're good at what you're doing, so you manage to provide the value that your client need, which, for example, for me would be, I don't know, create copy, translate and provide copy that converts, or that increases signups on the website, which in turn means that my client gets more money each month from new clients, something like that. Then you can start, okay, you know, charging a little bit more, and you don't need to go from 2 cents to 100. You can just do it gradually and a little bit more with each new client. And yeah, and also decide a price point where you don't want to go under. And yeah, I mean, and take it from there. You and also what I do. Yeah.
I was like
to what?
Showcase the value that you provide to each client of yours every time. Like, you have to showcase the value that you provide, that you are going to increase your sales that much by doing a great translation of your content on that website, or it's something that like they have to understand because of the post that you post, or referrals that you get from
No,
your.
I mean it's all part of it's like that the social media part or whatever is like part of strategy. And when you actually start working with a client, then, like, for example, what I do, I was actually talking with a colleague at the other day at the trade show, and it was like, oh, I charge this much and you charge that much. How do you justify it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to justify it, because when I'm working with this client, okay, I do my translation. This is like a real case of what happened 2 days ago. Yeah, I do my translation, I send it off. Then I always check online. It doesn't ask me, but I always check online. Once I do online testing of what's been uploaded, I do it the day after it's been uploaded. I check again a week after. I check a month after. I always I know that for that client, what really is important is that the website is up and running and people are going to go.
So
I'm going to go to the website, sign up, pay for the service, and get value from his website.
What do you go and check every month? You say every 2 months. What do you check exactly? If it's running well, the website, or there is
yeah, if it's running well, there's no issues, if like the stuff like that, and I send out a report. And then whenever, like for example, in this case, I've got I'm only doing the translations into Italian, but I have access to the multilingual file with other people write, and I don't even speak French, but I spotted a typo in the French translation, like a mistranslation actually, and then I spotted 2 mistranslations in the Spanish column, and then I spotted, so
the same website that you had translated. Is that correct? The same website that you had translated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't just send the translation and that's it. I send the translation. I do a lot of customer service, so to speak. I do a lot of online testing. I, do a lot of stuff to integrate that.
And you show that you care about the results of the work. Exactly. And the testing includes something specifically, the testing that you do? Last question.
I mean, this is just related to this like one's website in particular, because it's constantly updating and the developer might fuck up and retrieve old content by mistake. It's happened before, so I always go and check every couple of months that everything is running smoothly.
It's the correct text where it should be on the website.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are no variables. Like sometimes there is a variable, and it's it should be. I just check all these little things that might change over time, and they didn't ask me, but I know that that's what this clients in particular cares about. So I'm going to work these into my price, and then show up consistently, and then it never blinks an eye with my
just
prices.
In order to charge as high as you would like, every of us has a specific rate that they would like ideally to charge. You have to feel confident about the services and the quality of the service that you provide. Is that correct? And that you provide value to your customer, and that you feel also mostly confident in order to charge that much. Isn't that correct? And that you care, that you provide service after.
You also need to be like consistently providing like good work, because you can't charge a lot.
Quality comes first, then good service after delivery of the project. But most of all, in order to quote that much, or that much that you would like, ideally for each of us is different, you have to feel confident that you really deserve that amount of money for the services that you provide. So confidence is behind everything, I guess. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course. Yes. If you're not confident, then obviously you're not going to be able to take this step forward.
The value that you provide, the service that you provide after the delivery of the project, so everything in combination. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Thank you so much. So valuable information in such short time. I think when we start chatting, we can chat, I don't know for how long, but we have to go climbing. We have to work. This is just from Zagreb, the year that we met at a conference.
Did you get it from there?
Yeah, and I'm drinking my coffee today, just as an anniversary of our meeting. It was the first time that we met with Martina. And hope to meet you again in Athens, finally. Or
I'm here until probably April, May, so we will make it happen at some point. I don't know when, but
April. Everyone is listening now. Okay, thank you so much, Martina. See you in the group, guys. You can ask your questions, comment below, and Martina is a member of our group, so she is going to see any questions of yours. So bye-bye from us, and see you in the group.